Alright y'all, so I'm gonna show y'all how I got monetized in an unpopular niche. Everything that happened before I got to this point, and then at the end of the video, I'll run through some exact growth numbers and analytics for those of y'all who like to look at data, and I'll run through what my goals are for 2024. And so for those of y'all who don't know, you actually need two things to get monetized on YouTube. And when I say monetized, I mean what people usually mean, which is when you're actually getting paid for the ads that they run on your, or that YouTube runs on your videos. So you need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours over the last 365 days or 12 months. And that's specifically on long form content. There's also like short form content metrics, but I wasn't gonna hit that. So I actually got the email a few days ago that I was eligible for monetization. And for me, the biggest hurdle, which I feel like is usually the case for most people, was hitting the watch time. And so especially for those of y'all who are also in unpopular niches, or maybe you're in my niche, maybe this could give you an idea of, what the path could look like for you. All right, so what's my niche, you may ask? So I make content about veganism. Now you might be sitting there thinking, what are you talking about? That's a popular niche. And what I'd say to that is, yeah, if you're making like vegan brownies. But if you're talking about it in a way to raise awareness and get people to reflect about the ethical and environmental implications of eating animals, people will f***ing hate you. And I mean, the biggest account that talks about veganism from that angle is this one. And that one has around 500,000 subscribers. And the second biggest one, by a lot by the way, is this one. And that one has somewhere around 150,000 subscribers. Yeah, I was correct. And the third biggest one is probably tied between these two, and these are both sitting around 50,000 subscribers, more or less. And yeah, by the way, this is just going off my top audiences or top channels that your audience watches. So if you think I'm wrong, there's other people out there, then let me know in the comments. But so how I did it, let's get started. So I started publishing content consistently in March of 2022. And I figured that if I could make enough money from my content to live off of that, then that's what I would like to do. So I thought, okay, how can I make that happen? And so when I first started, I was posting 1 week vegan content and 1 week music content. Because at the time, I really wanted to sing. I still enjoy singing. And at the time, my channel was aptly named That Vocal Vegan. Get it? But I feel like I was just splitting my attention too much between the two, and it wasn't helping me. I feel like I was kind of half-assing both, you know what I mean? So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna focus on the vegan side. But anyway, so months and months passed and I was posting, and man, I was growing so slowly. The subs and the views were just trickling in. I'm talking, 30 subs a month on average, and mind you, I had to get to 1,000. And I would talk to people and I would be 8 months in, and they would say, man, so you're 8 months into publishing full-time on YouTube. How many subscribers do you have? I'd be like, oh, 400. And they'd be like, wow, 400,000, that's amazing, dude. And I'd be like, no, just 400. And I always knew that I just had to keep throwing stuff out there and see what stuck. So I was experimenting a lot with different videos. I made a video about Jenna Ortega. I made a video about declining sperm count, but nothing was really hitting. At the time, I was still getting just on average 200 views per video. So at the end of 2022, my goal was to break 500 subscribers. And like I said, I was getting 30 subs a month, on average. So some months I was getting 20. And it was December 25th or whatever, and I was at 450 subs. So I was just way off, it was not gonna happen. But then I had my first breakthrough video. I just threw together a video that, I didn't have a lot of time. It was the holidays, and I had just been on this funny date, I thought, funny dating experience. And y'all just ate that shit up. Y'all are nosy, damn. No, I'm kidding, but that was a huge milestone for me because it was the first time to see those numbers just pop off wildly. And I thought, damn, okay, maybe I can actually see this YouTube thing working. And so I very solidly hit my 500 sub goal by the end of that year. And then in January, I launched another sort of similar video, and that one did really well too. And that got me to around 700 subs. So now I was feeling really good about that. And I thought, okay, this 1,000 sub number is actually in striking distance. But there was still the whole 4,000 watch hours to hit, and I knew that one wasn't gonna be good because I just wasn't getting that much watch time on average on a monthly basis. I think I was getting like 50 hours a month. And so when I actually checked the amount of watch time I had about 1,000 hours. So yeah, the 4,000 watch hours just seemed unattainable, honestly. So when I started getting more analytical about it, I thought, okay, if I want to hit 4,000 watch hours, how many hours do I need to be hitting on average in a month to hit 4,000 hours? And so if you crunch those numbers, it comes out to about 333 hours. Repeating, of course. Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm coming up with 32.33, repeating, of course, percentage of survival.
Well, that's a lot better than we usually do.
Alright, thumbs up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Oh my god, he just ran in.
And so in that like super successful month where I had 2 videos back to back that did well, I was at 400 watch hours for that period of time. So that was the first time that I actually broke through the threshold. Now I just thought, okay, how am I gonna maintain that? But then here was the first good sign. Like I mentioned before these 2 hits, I was averaging around 50 hours of watch time like a month. But once I hit these 2 videos, because of the big subscriber boost and because a lot of new people found my channel, I was averaging 120 hours of watch time a month. So that's big, you know, that's like a 2.5x growth from month to month in terms of watch time. And so because those 2 personal videos did well, I started trying to post more personal videos and see how those hit, but nothing was really performing like the ones that popped. And to be fair, even then I was getting better at being on camera, writing scripts, just organizing myself to get videos out, you know, better at video editing. And so then from the period of like, I don't know, February to like June or July of 2023, I started experimenting with other types of videos. Like I would go out on the street to interview people and do some kind of vegan trivia with the explicit purpose of thinking about how I would upload those to TikTok or YouTube Shorts. So now I could like double dip on my content. I started taking my non-vegan friends to the vegan restaurants and getting the reactions. So yeah, I was just doing some experimenting with the different types of videos that I was putting out. And then slowly but surely, I finally hit 1,000 subs in July. And there was not really a pop, it was just kind of like a slow, steady growth to that number. And that was a huge milestone. I couldn't believe that I had hit that. But I was still not monetized. And when I looked at my watch time, it was sitting at around 1,500 hours. So still a long way to go from 4,000. But to spin it positively, it took me almost half the time to grow from 500 to 1,000. Then it took me to go from 1 to 500. So, and I was also just extremely proud to hit 1,000. Like I can't emphasize enough how hopeless it feels when you're at 400 or 300 and you're just seeing these numbers trickle in and then someone unsubs and then you're like, oh man, and you just really just can't see how you can possibly get to that 1,000 number. Despite that you're dedicating all your time to it and things are just not sticking. And even more so when you compare yourself to other people who are like, oh yeah, like I've been doing this 9 months and I already hit 50,000 subscribers. But I think an important lesson for me as well was to learn to be kinder to myself. And I think that's a lesson that I'd already learned in my life, but you always kind of gotta refresh it a little bit. Like I didn't have any filming experience, editing experience. I barely know how to use my camera. I still don't know how to use this thing. Plus, like, it's different topics. Like I mentioned before, veganism, I feel like has a much lower ceiling. But yeah, so I just try to keep all that in mind. So then, yeah, now it's July 2023. And I'm going to this big vegan festival. Yes, those exist. The biggest in the world, actually. And it was such an incredible experience for a lot of different reasons. But one of them was that I got to speak and interview some of the best in the game. People that I really admired. And when I was talking to them, it almost kind of sent me back to the days of corporate where it felt like you had your coworkers and your team. And you're all kind of working on the same thing. It was a cool experience. So anyway, so I filmed a bunch of footage, including the interviews at this event. And so I dropped some of the videos where I had interviewed vegans. And one of the videos that had David Rams in the thumbnail and George Martin from Carnism Debunked was also in the video. That one just popped the fuck off. That one got like 5,000 views and that became my #1 video of all time. And what was even cooler was after I launched that video, like I mentioned before, where I got that bump in sustained growth, I was averaging around 120 hours a month. Now, after I launched that video, I was averaging 400 hours a month. So that means I did it. Like I finally broke the threshold of 333 hours a month. Now it was just a matter of time before I monetized. And it felt awesome because now every video I was posting would get minimum 700 views. And remember before I was getting like 200 to 300 views on average. And it was cool because it felt like anything I posted was getting traction. Like I posted about a trip to Jordan, or I interviewed a vegan restaurant owner, also in Jordan, talking to my friends about veganism over a vegan dinner. And so it felt really good. It was like, damn, I hit the sustained growth. And I couldn't believe where I was. I was like, man, I was struggling not even a year ago to get over like 70, 80 hours a month. And now I'm getting 400. And yeah, like it felt really good to feel like all that time, all that work that I had put in was starting to pay off. Even if it wasn't as fast as some other people. And another thing I started doing during this time is because I've gotten a little bit better at editing videos and organizing and planning everything, I was able to start putting out shorts as well. And the shorts, like they don't all hit, but I noticed that my shorts were hitting a much wider audience that my normal videos ever hit, and I would pick up some subs from them. And veganism is a pretty interesting topic, like, when you talk about ethics, environment, health, maybe somebody could see a short for the first time, be introduced to the topic, and then start checking out my longer form content. I mean, after all, the first video that I watched about veganism, it wasn't, like it didn't mention veganism. I actually kind of got tricked into it. It was just about health benefits of plant-based eating. But after I watched it, I started doing more research, understanding it more, and then I thought, oh, okay, like I get it. Anyways, that's all to say that I felt like, okay, shorts is another cool strategy to maybe bring people into the conversation that might not otherwise be in it. Now, November is when things start to go sour. So because of my sustained growth, at the time I was at around maybe 3,200 watch hours by the end of October. And so I was like, man, if I just keep up this pace for November and December, I can make my first dollar on YouTube or from YouTube ads by the end of the year. And so in like October, November, I go on this trip in North America and I get the chance to film a bunch of content. And so the videos where I go out to interview people on the streets, like those don't take too long to edit. So I was like, okay, I'll just put those out while I'm traveling. So I put one up from Times Square and that just blew up, 1.8K views, and that was one of my best videos of all time. So I was like, damn, I can do no wrong. And so then I posted the next interview one, and that one was a 10 out of 10 video. And I don't mean in the good way. I mean that YouTube ranks your videos and tells you how it does out of the last 10, and 10 out of 10 means it's the bottom of the last 10 videos you just put out. And so I was like, damn, okay, maybe that was a fluke. Like I didn't really get why that one didn't do that well. Whatever, put the next one up, should be good. And then I got hit with another 10 out of 10. That one did even worse than the one before it. And so November was just going terribly, and me thinking I was gonna get like 500, 600 hours, I was looking at getting 250 hours that month. So I was like, I guess I'm not gonna make $1 this year. And this basically continued throughout all November. I basically dropped like 4 10 out of 10 videos, one after the other. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was a blow to the high that I was feeling. But I guess it's part of the territory, and it's something that I'm probably gonna have to get used to, and that we all have to get used to if we're gonna be, creators in like this kind of space. And so not sure how important this is, but at this point I changed my name from That Vocal Vegan to Danesh. So yeah, this name change, I'm not even like a month into it. Like most people still know me as That Vocal Vegan, I think, if they know me. But yeah, I didn't really pick up much watch time from that video either, so I was like, damn, this year's just not happening. But then I dropped this vegan butcher video. And at first that video did like whatever, it was just doing like the rest. But then that video picked the fuck up. And that video ended up being and is my highest watched video of all time. And so because of that video, I hit the monetization thresholds before the end of 2023. And now I'm an officially monetized channel, and I feel so psyched about it. So how long did that take? Well, it took me about 1 year and 10 months to hit that. So nearly 2 years. And if you've watched these videos before, people usually say, oh, like, it takes you about 1 year to get monetized. So yeah, it took me a lot longer than the average person. But honestly, I'm so thrilled to be sitting here and be able to say that I am now making money on YouTube and be able to work more towards that goal of being able to live off the content that I make. So yeah, I honestly can't believe I'm here. Feeling really happy about it. Overall, this year I experimented with a bunch of different video types, started doing more shorts, hit 1,000 subscribers, and got monetized. So how does 2022 compare to 2023? Here are the numbers for those of y'all who are interested. At the end of 2022, I had 512 subs. At the end of 2023, I had 1,753 subs. So that's almost a 3.5x increase in sub count. And for watch time, which I actually think is probably one of the most important metrics because it's a good blend between views and actual video length. So in 2022, I had 596 hours of watch time. And in 2023, I had 4,782 hours of watch time. That's an 8x increase in watch time. So yeah, wow, like that's not something that you really expect or think will happen to you, especially like I mentioned before, when you're just seeing the subs trickling in and the watch time trickling in. But when you take a step back and look at it from a yearly perspective, it really gives you a better insight into the big changes that can happen. You can see the bigger picture and generally feel a lot better about your growth. And just to be fair, in 2022, I didn't have any uploads in January or February, and I didn't do nearly as many shorts in 2022. So, just putting little asterisks there. Asterisks. Asterisk? So, just putting little asterisk there. And yeah, it was really just a couple videos popping off, and those helped me get that sustained growth. So in terms of watch time, my top videos of 2023 were these. So it was the vegan butcher one that, like I mentioned, came out in December. Then it was the video where I interviewed a bunch of vegans, including David Rams and George Martin. And the third video was where I tried the vegan steak. And then my top videos in 2022 were the dating video. Number 2 was just like an outreach video that I did. Actually, number 2 and number 3 were both outreach videos that I just went to a park and I talked to someone about veganism. All right. So goal setting. Well, first of all, just looking back at 2023, I didn't really do any formal goal setting then. I kind of told myself that I did want to make $1 off of the content that I was creating before the end of the year. And that happened. And it wasn't through YouTube ads. I only turned on that monetization like January 3rd or 4th. What happened was I opened a Patreon and I got one patron, which I was very excited about. So thank you. So I achieved that goal. Now, in terms of this next year, so in my previous corporate life, the company where I worked at basically my entire corporate life, they always focused on setting input goals rather than output goals. And by output, I mean like how many views you get or how many subs you get. And I think that's like fair reasoning too, because you can't really control that yourself. Versus the inputs are how many videos you upload. And that's something that you do have control over. So I want to have input goals and the rest will come, inshallah. So in 2023, I got 46 videos out, meaning I only missed 6 uploads that year, which, could have been for whatever reason. I either took a break or maybe I just couldn't get a video out that week. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And so for this year, my goal is also to upload 45 videos, long form videos. So that means I can miss a few uploads, take some breaks, and hopefully I'll find some time this year to get ahead on videos. So even if I take a week off, I can still get a video out that week. And I'd like to hit maybe 50 shorts this year. And I know I said inputs would be the focus, but I like to set like a wish list of how much money or income I hope to be generating by the end of this year. So I think I need around $2,000 to $2,500 a month to be able to maintain my current lifestyle. And so this year I'm gonna hope that I'm making $500 a month by the end of the year. So I did a quick glance and it's based on really few views, but it looks like I have an RPM of $3.50, which means that on average for every 1,000 views, I get $3.50. So if I wanna hit that goal of getting $500 a month just from YouTube ads, and that's not even including the taxes or anything that I'd have to pay, that would mean I would need to get 142,000 views per month. Now to put that in perspective, if we look at the last 3 months, I got about 20,000 views. And that was with my best video of all time. So that seems like it's gonna be really hard to hit. But you know what? So did 1K subs and 4,000 watch hours. So, shoot for the stars, right? That's what they say. Doing some more division, that means that I'd probably need to get around 35,000 views per video. So yeah. But this data is all based on just like a few days of my data, like very little data. So I'll get more clarity on that as time passes. And I don't know, maybe I'll make a follow-up when I have more data. Plus, like I mentioned, I opened a Patreon at the end of 2023, and maybe I can get some sponsorships or maybe some affiliate links to help get me where I wanna be. So yeah, that's the recap for 2023 and the goal setting for 2024 and how I got monetized in an unpopular niche. I know I would have definitely liked to see a video like this, especially for the vegan niche, just so I could have had a better idea of what to expect when it came to finances, like if I wanted to live off of content. So anyways, let me know down below if you found the video useful, and I'll see you on the next one.